Hello, you know who I am by now, everything down there. So this is a bonus video, but it's something I've wanted to talk about for a long time and just kind of roll with it. And before we get going, I'm currently on a new setup, so because I'm out of memory on my phone, I'm having to do this on my webcam while my phone formats and while I'm cleaning it, but I wanted to get this out there and talk about it before my brain just went wee all the way home. So, hi. So, first things first, let's delve into the subject. So I've seen a lot of comments and very interesting discussions on one of my videos, which I've got on the computer screen now, on why manga outsells comic books. And there was some comments made that I think both are perfect and fascinating at the same time. And I'm trying to find them because I'm doing this on the fly, which is hilarious. So there were some comments made on this video, which I've got open next to me, which I think are fascinating. I don't agree with every point in this video. So first things first, I'm going to breeze over some of it, but so the comment was, I can give you top reasons why manga is currently outselling comics. Cheaper and more acceptable, tend to stay away from political crap, doesn't race swap established legacy characters, deeper, more relatable characters instead of the usual superheroes, less censorship, easier to follow. So, okay, so I'm going to break these comments down and talk about them that way. So the first comment was, cheaper and more acceptable. Now that depends on where you live. Manga volumes are quite expensive. In the UK, I noticed. I remember when they used to be like £5 each. Single volumes go for about the same as a standard paperback novel here. So about 12. I've seen them anything from £7 to about £12. But some of the bigger volumes are like £18, £25 each. So I think that depends on where you live for the cost. But accessible, yes. There's far more. There is far more manga on the shelves and far more variety, but that's coming up. And I also think that people, when it's just in front of you and it's big, and my library is filled with it, by the way. My library has a really good manga section, so, which always surprises me, and they're quite willing to order anything, so you can get stuff. And then there's apps, and but if you're going digital, there are apps that you can get where you can get subscriptions and it's cheaper and you can read as many volumes as you want on your iPad or something. So it depends if you're going physical, it depends if you're going paperless, and so on. But, you know, that cost is applicable depending on where you live. But then, like I said, more accessible, definitely. I agree with that 100%. You can go everywhere and you can get it with no problems. So, tend to stay away from political crap. Now, I disagree with that comment, but I've noticed with Japanese manga, depending on what you read, comics have always been political. Always been political. Western comics, predominantly used to be kind of social commentary, where now it's more ideology. I will stand by that one steadfast. But I think there is a lot of politics in manga, but I think it's handled in a more real world, slightly more intelligent way than Western comics. That's the word for it. It's handled in a different way. And it's commentary on a situation rather than ideology, which I think is a more tasteful to the reader. But also, I think people want an escape from their own reality, and the more of our own reality we're seeing in media right now, the more people are pulling away from it and want escapism. 3, doesn't race swap established legacy characters, and that's true. I don't like, if it's a parallel universe, I'm fine with that. But if it's an established character and stuff like that, I think keep characters the way they should be, the way they are. Just leave it at that. They're iconic for a reason. And actually, with a lot of manga, ethnicity is a very interesting thing and very interestingly handled. There are some, it's not everything, but there is a lot that talks about that, and it can be absolutely fascinating. 4, deeper and more relatable characters instead of the usual superheroes who save the world. And this can be a catch-22. There are plenty of great graphic novels that are not about superheroes that come out the West. There are some great ones. The Midnight Book Mobile is one that's absolutely stunning. Or is it the book like one of those? But I do think it's true that there are more character driven. You can get every genre possible in manga. You can get horror, you can get romance, you can get teen dramas, you can get slice of life, you can get wartime dramas, you can get superheroes, you can get kiddie stuff. You go across the board. Like, kids manga is fantastic. I love the Pokemon manga, by the way. Pokemon Adventure is absolutely fantastic. But it is such a wider thing. Every genre is represented in manga, and that's not an understatement. Every genre on this planet is represented in some form or another in manga, and a lot of Western comics don't, and that is a shame, because there is a lot of potential there, but it never seems to get tapped. And I think, and I agree, far deeper characters, where a lot of stuff tends to be quite surface level in Western comics now, especially with this sort of breed of toxic writer. It's very surface level. Less censorship, that's negotiable. There is definitely censorship from Japan to the West, but Japan does have its own issues with censorship, and I think that's not a cut and dry thing, and I think we need to work that one out. Easier to follow. So this is the final one on that list, and it depends on what you're reading. It really does. And actually, I do find a lot of American comics now bog themselves down so much with pacing and bad pacing that it makes it difficult to follow, because it loses its own plot sometimes. And I found that they're so focused on this issue, they forget what they're meant to be doing. And I do think a part of the big reason, and this is my 10 cents in this situation, that manga is outselling comics is pure escapism. Like I said at the beginning, people are over seeing the real world reflected back at them in such a blunt way. Commentary has always been a comic book thing. Look at the X-Men, for example, civil rights commentary. It will always be that. Captain America exists purely as a piece of commentary and make people feel better about World War II. You know, you have that in there. It always will be. The problem is, commentary versus ideology are two different things, and that's a whole 2-hour discussion in itself. But commentary on a subject, allow the reader to make up their own mind, allow the reader to make their own thoughts and opinions, allow the reader to think for themselves. I think that's an issue that it has, and I think people just want escapism. And commentary on something you can ignore. And I got accused of not liking politics by some twat in the comments. It was like, well, this is all the interaction I'm going to give you in the algorithm for the week. Go away. You're blocked. And actually, I do like politics, but I like politics handled well. I like characters handled well. I don't like when politics becomes not driving force, that's the wrong word. When it becomes a necessary and unnecessary driving force, that's the word for it. Politics will always be in comic book media. The difference being is how it's handled, especially now, and I won't change my mind on this one. Like, the art of, like, YA comics are a minefield of bad writing and idiots. So, and then it comes down to appealing to people, or trying to appeal to people who don't interact with this type of media anyway. So you can't really win. So whichever way it's going to happen, but I do think the big reason is escapism. I think a few reasons: deeper characters, more genre, more accessible, definitely, but escapism. I think people want escapisms from the actuality of their own lives, and especially in dark times, we want escapism. So I know this video is going to be controversial. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.